Hello, everyone, and have we got some exciting crypto news for you tonight? Yes, crypto's opponents are one by one turning their face and becoming more pro crypto. You know why? Because they have absolutely no choice left. That's right, they got no choice left. UBS was one of the fund managers that refused to have Bitcoin ETFs yesterday. But they're already changing their mind. You know why? Because they're losing customers. Vanguard, learn your lesson and know your role in the economy. Yes, you guys are no longer solely at the top. Bitcoin is rising, and UBS is the first one to start turning. Now, they're only offering limited Bitcoin ETFs, but eventually they're going to offer unlimited Bitcoin ETFs. Sooner or later, they stepped up their game because they're losing too many customers. And the customer is always right. They've decided to allow select clients, special clients, to trade Bitcoin ETFs. Notably, the bank will not proactively solicit these trades. Only accounts aligned with a higher risk tolerance, basically like rich fat cats, will be eligible for this new offering. But I think they're going to lose some of their smaller clients if they don't expand this offering, and businesses do not like losing clients. That's correct. They really hate losing clients, and eventually I believe that will change. The strategic decision positions UBS cautiously in the rapidly evolving digital asset space. And they've basically had their hand forced because the customers told them, we want Bitcoin, and if you don't give us Bitcoin, we will go to your competitors and you will be pwned. And they're like, okay, masters, we will give you your Bitcoin. And that's exactly what they're doing. Obviously, there's a lot of industry giants that are going for this Bitcoin ETF and trying to climb the ladder in the Bitcoin ETF. And those that don't, I think, will be left out in the cold. And when they see the profits that other Bitcoin ETF issuers are getting, they will also open themselves up to ETFs. So one by one, the dominoes are falling one by one. More than ever, the biggest one of these crypto adoptees, Blackrock, is very, very gung-ho about crypto. It almost seems like Larry Fink is Satoshi Nakamoto at this point because he's issued very optimistic voices about crypto. You know, he first said it was a flight to quality a while ago, but now, just the last 2 days, he said people should buy Bitcoin to protect themselves, and it is bigger than any government. Man, the anti-crypto people don't like hearing this from the director or the boss of the biggest investment fund in the world. So he says it's bigger than any government and that you need it to protect yourselves. Maybe BlackRock is Satoshi Nakamoto and they secretly have the million Bitcoins. That's not good news for Craig Wright if that's true. In a Fox interview, the former Bitcoin skeptic defended the cryptocurrency as a shield against government manipulation and economic instability. So maybe he's thinking the inflation isn't so good and he wants Bitcoin now. Or maybe he's just trying to pump up his Bitcoin ETF and he wants to sell more. See, Larry Fink knows how to play PR. He's like, I've got a Bitcoin ETF. I need people to buy my ETF. What do? I'm going to go all in on crypto, make myself a hero of crypto so more people will buy my ETF. Smart thinking there, Larry Fink. I don't know if we're going to fall for it. I'm definitely not buying an ETF because I'd rather just buy Bitcoin itself. But still, it's the news is very, very good. Fink stopped by Fox Business to discuss his landmark week in which the SEC approved 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. So let's be clear. If you're in a country where you're fearful of your government, and maybe this is one of the reasons why China has banned it, that's exactly why China has banned it, by the way. Larry Fink isn't lying there. If you're in a country where you're fearful of your future, fearful of your government, or you're frightened by your government, that your government is devaluing its currency by too much deficits, you could say this is a great potential long-term store of value. I don't know eventually if it'll be Bitcoin, but crypto can definitely fill that role. His stance is a far cry from where he stood in 2017, but it's also been 7 years since then, so that's plenty of long time to change. And maybe JP Morgan and even Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren, with a little bit of bribing, of course, can actually come to bear with Bitcoin. Because Larry Fink, back in 2017, said it was an index of money laundering. Now he's saying it's a flight to quality and insurance against the government, and it's bigger than any government. He seems to think that Bitcoin is poised for world domination. Yes, people, yes. So basically, Fink acknowledged Bitcoin's use in illicit activity today. So there is some illicit use in Bitcoin activity. He said his view of Bitcoin began turning around the midst of the pandemic, telling the broadcaster there is also much opportunity in Bitcoin. So he's shifted completely 180 degrees. That must make Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren be shaking in their boots. Because when the world's largest funds and the cabal is all pro-crypto, they know they don't really have too much of a leg to stand on anymore. So that's the news. That's great news for us crypto investors. I know some of you don't like that big funds are coming into crypto, but this was always inevitable. And to build on that, Gary Gensler seems to be absolutely seething right now after the court basically slapped him upside the head and told him to approve a Bitcoin ETF. And he's actually ramped up his attacks ever since approving the Bitcoin ETF. So basically, he's doubled down on his criticisms, and he's saying that Bitcoin is centralized. Now, I can't really say he's that wrong about that, but you know what else is centralized? That's right, fiat. And the people that issue fiat, or the entity that issues fiat, known as the US Treasury. So you don't really have too much of an advantage there. So basically he's saying, investors should be aware that underlying asset is highly speculative, volatile asset, regarding the ETF, stressing that the agency does not approve or endorse Bitcoin, yet they did approve an ETF. And here's the thing, Gary Gensler, people know that it's highly speculative and volatile. That's why a lot of people are actually in the crypto market. They want you out of their business when they're investing in highly speculative, volatile assets. A lot of people have been in this industry for a long time. They know exactly what they're buying, and they still want to buy it. They don't want you getting your fingers in all this stuff. And no, they're not money laundering for sex trafficking or terrorist financing or any of that stuff. They just want to make money. If you want to arrest people for like terrorist financing, go check up on Lazarus in North Korea. There are probably a lot of it. We already know what group that is. I mean, you know what? You like bombing people. You know, like that's an actual terrorist group that could actually be your target, because it is legitimate that you actually go do something about that specific group, because they are stealing money from people and they're funding North Korea. That's been an unproven fact. You need a target, go after them. You're the government, that's your job, not harassing us time after time again. So that's actually what we have for Gary Gensler. He is still seething, doubling down on his attacks on crypto. So the other thing is that GameStop has exited crypto NFTs. Yes, GameStop has actually exited crypto NFTs. I think we should all exit GameStop at this point. I mean, Wall Street Bets, that thing has died down a little bit. And let's be honest, GameStop is where you go to trade in your games. I don't know if anyone actually does that anymore. They were pretty cool when I was like 10, but it's been like 30 years since then. And of course, they're going to exit the NFT space entirely. I don't know if it's because the business didn't work or because of regulatory concerns. But I think any future for GameStop just went down the drain with that decision. Don't really see GameStop actually being a significant company in the future. Definitely not. FTX creditors are actually fighting for a better payout, and I completely support them for this. They do not want their cash payout based on the value of Bitcoin back in 2022, which is $17,000. They want an in-kind payback, which means they want their Bitcoin back, or at least at a value of about $43,000 from which it is right now. And I wholly support them, because what FTX, I believe, is trying to do is they can sell their held Bitcoin for the price right now and then pay them back 30 cents on the dollar and then keep 70% of that money to pay their lawyers and themselves and to revive FTX. None of us want you to revive FTX. We want you to pay that money back to your creditors. They're your customers, you screwed them, and you should be penniless after you pay them because you caused them a lot of heartache and you stole a lot of money from them, and now you're trying to steal even more money from them by selling at a higher price and paying them a lower price and using that other money to revive FTX, which obviously no one actually wants at this point. Should pay off your creditors. That is your first priority, not trying to revive your business, because your business and your brand is basically damaged goods and it's not going to come back even if you try really, really hard. And plus, that money that like you took from customers, they might have actually held until now, and they would actually have $43,000 of Bitcoin, not $17,000 of Bitcoin. You completely refused to pay them back immediately, and you deprived them of that chance to actually get those gains. So you should have to actually pay Bitcoin back at the current price, not at the price back in 2022. So I completely and wholeheartedly support the FTX creditors. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.